What did you learn when it came to building up a team, especially now as you're kind of moving through where you're at today? I mean, what kind of lessons do you take with you from those earlier times?
Yeah, I think what was great about that business for me early in my career was really that at its core, a technology-driven client service business, right? So, at Ticketmaster, we're an agent on behalf of a principal, and your technology needs to work on behalf of your client or it creates real problems. You're selling tickets, which are really, really expensive. They're very, very scarce, and you're doing it super quickly. And so you learn a few things. One, it's a business where you're always on. Two, your homework gets graded every single day because if you screw it up, you're screwing it up not on behalf of yourself, what you are, but it directly impacts a client who is absolutely and should be keeping score. And so I think that level of kind of oversight and scrutiny and high expectation really helped imprint the importance of having very high standards for quality early in the career. The other thing is the business never stopped, right? So you're selling tickets on behalf of thousands of clients in dozens of countries. Something is always going on. So it's operationally intense. You're always on, and your time is not your own. And so you start to learn how to build teams that can deliver that level of service, which means you have to start looking into people's personalities, right? When you're building teams, okay, this is what the mission is. Are we identifying people who are comfortable in effectively an always on world? How are they going to feel when they're releasing code in an environment, which is going to determine whether we do a good job of selling tickets to the Yankees in the World Series or for a U2 tour, and that code blows up? You start really understanding the importance of temperament and personality as well as skills. And then the interplay of those personalities on a team. Again, because, that there was a very, very high pressure environment as well, just by the very nature of the business. I would say those are some of the biggest lessons. The other thing that was, I think, really valuable is getting it right. Facebook kind of popularized the notion, move fast and break things. I think if you're a content site on the consumer internet, that's okay, but it's not always true. When you're dealing with millions of dollars worth of other people's inventory, breaking things really is not on the table. You need to move quickly because they want their business to evolve extremely quickly, and you effectively, through the delivery of technology, enable that. But you can't break their business along the way. And so balancing speed and responsiveness to clients with being able to deliver consistently in a way that's not going to damage someone's business. Again, it goes back to, really developing those kind of standards of excellence.
So tell me about some of the personalities on your team. I mean, I'm just imagining you've got these companies you're acquiring, so you're the founders and you're probably bringing in subject matter experts. Like what does the team look like?
So when you're thinking about building teams for diverse businesses, I think you have to be pretty comfortable with, a wide range of personalities and experiences. And by the way, I think that's healthy for single brand, single line businesses too, but particularly so in our world. But at the same time, you're looking for common traits just based on the type of company we are and the culture we have. And I would say, a few things jump to mind, which is we're still a pretty small business. There's, I think, about 400 of us across, our brands. We all do work. So the player coach model works. Like the idea of someone who does wonderful presentations and great PowerPoints, and that's kind of it. That doesn't really work terribly well inside a Leaf Group. We want strategic doers in much of what we do. We want people who are highly confident, but also very, very kind of comfortable and low ego. I want enough ego where people are very, very confident in their abilities, but not so much that they suck the energy out of the room. Again, we do a lot we're pretty scrappy and we run lean. Not a great place for, I would say, politicians or bureaucrats. One of the things that we always try to look for in our leaders is this kind of desire or willingness to help, right? Which is not just within the team, but having some capacity for selflessness and being other directed. It's hard to get best practice sharing, do a lot with a little in a world where people are primarily focused only on what's directly in front of them, right? I'm a huge believer in the team approach. And for teams to really thrive, people have to have that gene which says, I am willing to give something more of myself than perhaps left to my own devices. I would, because I want to help my team out. Like, I'll go the extra mile for my team. I will pick up the slack of someone else because that's who I am. I think you can stress the importance of it, but the capacity to be willing to help someone else out of the team, to fight through tough times, I think that's very much of a personality type.
Yeah. How are you testing for that in the interview process? I mean, all of those, I'm like, yes, 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 I want to hire candidates just like that. But how are you going about filtering for those kinds of people?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it comes to the conversation you're having with people in that process about their personal journey and about their story. What have been the most formative moments of their life? Who are the people that they're closest to and why? What was the most challenging situation that they've been in? When people talk about who's had the most impact in their life and why, you tend to get a sense for what moves and motivates them as a human being. What are the traits they most admire, in others?
I like that. So it's literally learning about the person. Who knew? But yeah.
When I was at Ticketmaster, at one point I had responsibility over call centers, and we had, we had really, really strong leaders, Scott Powell and Sandy Garr, who ran the businesses directly. And one of the things that was always very interesting to me is, if you kind of went beyond the tools and the background and the experience set, and you looked at who are the people most successful in the role, there are people who genuinely enjoyed helping other people, right? So if they have the basic skills and the drive and you're giving them good tools to work with, the differentiator was attitude, right? Which is, if you're someone who is really, really excited to help someone else out, you're going to be a phenomenal asset as a customer service person. If that doesn't excite you and you're just functionally competent at it, that level of differentiation that separates good from great is never going to be there. And I think that does tend to come out in people's stories. I mean, it's fairly easy to screen for talent, for kind of smarts and motivation and everything else. But when it comes down to those intangibles that result in a great team, I think probably deep interviewing a personal story to get what motivates people, to see if that what motivates people in their own lives is consistent with what you think drives success in your organization.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.